You know, when we look back at the year 2007, it truly was an important time for mankind. We had the release of the iPhone, it was just before the 2008 financial crisis, and Kanye just dropped Graduation. Truly was a time to marvel. But the most important thing that came out of that year was the end of the production for the Suzuki AERIO. This reasonably priced sedan was released in 2001 as a competitor to both the Toyota Corolla and the Honda Civic. But unlike the two of those, this one here is a mix of DNA between a crossover and a sedan. Truly a one-of-a-kind of a vehicle. This car here had an all-wheel drive package, which wasn't very common for Japanese cars at the time, other than the Subaru Impreza, which was only priced about $500 more at the time. The thing is, the top trim of this here Suzuki versus the top trim of the Impreza, it was significantly cheaper. This is one of the major benefits to getting a Suzuki. It didn't completely break the bank, but unfortunately due to low sales and interests back in 2007, they were discontinued. Real shame, honestly. They seem like a pretty good competitor. One of the major reasons for the discontinuation of the Suzuki AERIO was that it only had one generation in the whole 5 years it was on the market. Suzuki hadn't updated the AERIO other than give it a small facelift. Afterwards, the AERIO was subsequently replaced by the SX4, which, unlike the Suzuki, did have another generation. Unfortunately, that one never did make it to Canada, because back in 2013, Suzuki announced that they would stop selling cars in Canada. One of the big reasons is that Suzuki America went bankrupt back in 2012, and in the following year, they didn't sell more than 6,000 cars. In the car department, Suzuki fell behind for a multitude of reasons. They hadn't been updating their cars fast enough, and they failed to adapt to modern standards. Suzuki didn't really have great brand recognition. They weren't cheap as Hyundai, refined as a Honda, or rugged as a Jeep. It's got that early 2000s aesthetic. Honestly, I think it looks better than a Corolla. It's got a ton of cabin space and is honestly pretty well built. You know, after 20 years, this one's still alive and kicking. Don't mind any of that. The ride is pretty poor, but the seats feel pretty nice. Coming in with a 2.3 liter engine with 4 cylinders, 155 horsepower stock. This thing is gets you 0 to 100 in about 5 to 10 business days, I'd say. And oh, would you look at this? Even comes with a little spoiler for aerodynamics. And that's basically it. Honestly, the history itself is more interesting than the car, I have to say. And if I was broke back in 2007 and I had to choose between this, a Toyota, a Honda, or a Subaru, I'd buy a Lancer.